Grief often comes in waves. No, grief is not a disorder and it does not have even a deadline. But there is grace to grow through what you go through. Today's topic is from grief to growth, how to find meaning in loss and transition. Oh, you know what's up? Turn me up. I'm mic'd up. Join me and let's mix it up. What's good people? How you doing? How you living? How's it going? What's happening? I hope that you are doing well. Well, I want to welcome you to another edition of In the Mix. I'm your host with the most, yours truly, Dr. Eddie Connor, and it is an honor that you have joined me today. I need you to help a brother out, hook a brother up, drop some light bulb emojis in the chat, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. Yeah, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Hit that thumbs up button. I'm growing your greatness. Help me grow our channel for change, our channel that creates change, our channel that breaks chains. And of course, like we always do, in order to have a courageous conversation of illumination, I need you to drop some light bulb emojis in the chat. Drop some light bulb emojis in the chat. As a matter of fact, I'm getting ready to stretch the elasticity of your thinking. We're going to light it up. We're going to brighten it up. We're going to turn it all the way up. Why? Because we are the light of the world. And today we're going to spotlight and highlight, a heavy topic. Sometimes you got to talk about some heavy things because life gets a little bit heavy. We're living some very, very heavy days and some heavy times. And so we have to find ways and strategies on how to handle what's heavy. I'm going to give you some strategies today, 4 in particular, that are going to help you find meaning in loss and transition. Here's what I understand about grief. As I understand about grieving, it's never easy. It's heavy. It's weighty. And what I understand is that when a person is grieving loss, you have to encourage them. If somebody who you consider to be a loved one, a friend, a confidant, a comrade, you have to encourage them and not just think about yourself. It means you weep with those who weep. You mourn with those who mourn. You raise your level of consideration. You raise your level of compassion. You raise your level of human connection. I don't know if you ever lost someone. I don't know if you've ever lost loved ones, especially in a successive manner, back to back to back to back. Within the last week or so, 4 people I know died. Imagine getting word after word after word after word about deaths of individuals who you spent time with, you've cared for, you've gleaned from them, you've enlightened them. And it's a painful process to handle what's heavy. It's a painful process to handle what's weighty. And here's what I understand. Grief is not a monolithic thing. It's not a one size fits all. Everybody handles grief differently. Family, just type TLC, type TLC, type TLC. We all need tender loving care, no matter how tough any one of us wants to act. I understand this, that we all have a fragile do not drop label on our lives. Whether we want to admit it or not, we all have a fragile do not drop label on our lives. And we have to handle everybody with care, because we don't even know the people that we come across, the people that are at our job, the people who are online, the people who are at our church, in your sorority, in your community, in your fraternity. You don't know what people are trying to smile through, but they're still suffering in. You just don't know. So we always have to handle each other with care. Grief is real. And I need you to hear me. HTA, Hard Truth Alert. HTC, Hard Truth Conversation. Heavy Truth Conversation. Heavy Truth Alert. Grief is real. I need you to hear me. If people don't understand that, you don't need them in your life. While I'm handling what's heavy, I don't need you to put more of a heavy burden on me because of your attitude, because you don't have a pulse on the pain and the pressure of what people experience, because you just want to remain in your own narcissistic pattern of behavior. Grief is real. If people don't understand that, you don't need them in your life, and you don't need to try to understand, or even try to wrap your mind around why they're even acting like that, treating you like that, so on and so forth. Do the best that you can to move on while you're trying to hang on and hold on mentally and emotionally. Very important. Here's what I understand. I heard someone say, you don't heal from grief. You learn how to cope with it. Certain things we may never get over, we just have to learn how to manage. How do you heal from the loss of a loved one? How do you heal from the loss of a father, a mother, a grandfather, a grandmother? I don't know if you really heal from it, but you learn how to cope with it. The precious memories, the good times, those become somewhat of a consolation for you. And here's what grief does. Grief alters your perspective on life. You have to learn and even relearn how to live and not just exist. Because if we'll really be honest, many of us go through life numb. We go through life on autopilot. We go through life befriending hurt, to where now it hurts for many of us to be happy. Grief, what it does is that oftentimes it comes in waves. You could be on cloud nine a day, and then something could just hit you emotionally. You could wake up with something on your mind. You'd be dealing and grappling with something, and all of a sudden, the pain of the stain of bearing a loved one, loss of a loved one, loss of a relationship that oftentimes can feel like a death. Come on, there's grief too. Grief is not somebody is not just somebody that you're burying. Grief is not just a loved one that you're burying. Sometimes grief is living through dying places. A divorce is a death while you're alive. A relationship gone awry and askew is a death while you're alive. People who you thought were going to be with you, heal you and help you, but hurt you and harm you. There's grief that oftentimes comes with that. Some of us are grieving people who are still alive. Grief is not just for those who have passed on. Some of us are grieving those who still have breath in their body, because we're disconnected, we're disassociated, we're detached. And here it is, grief oftentimes comes in stages. There's no specific order. There's the denial aspect. I can't believe this is even happening. This can't be happening. There's the anger aspect. You're incensed. There's the depression, how it's affecting you mentally. You got the denial, you got the anger, you got the depression. Then there's the acceptance of what just happened in the bargaining. Five stages of grief. And I need you to hear me. You can be going through grief, but it doesn't mean even while you're grieving, it doesn't mean you're losing your mind. You're not losing your mind. What it is that your heart and your mind are at war. You're trying to process what's happening. In the book, The Body Keeps a Score, speaks about all the trauma that in many cases we harbor, we hold on to. And based upon that trauma, now we experience particular physical responses in our body due to the fact that it becomes psychosomatic. Whatever is going on in the mind affects the body. You're not losing your mind. Your heart and your mind are just at war. You're trying to process. You're trying to rationalize. You're trying to find a way to see how you can make sense of what's not making sense. And that's why grief is complex. It's hard to explain. No matter how analytical you are, it can't be figured out. Here's what I understand. It's a forever void. It's a forever void of a grandmother, of a grandfather, of a father, of a mother, of a sibling. It is a forever void of a child that you may have lost. And that's why when you can't figure it out, you got to put it in God's hands to let him work it out. Let me give you some strategies. Family, just type grief to growth, grief to growth, grief to growth. That's what it's about. It's about shifting from grieving to growing. I need you to hear me. You're greater than your grief. You're bigger than your brokenness. I want to give you some strategies on how to find meaning in loss and transition. Number one, once you write this down, acknowledge your emotions. Come on, put that in the chat. Put that in your notebook. Put that in the chat. As a matter of fact, number one, you have to acknowledge your emotions. Come on, you are not a human doing, you are a human being. Brothers, I need you to tap into your he-motions. Nothing wrong with having emotions, just a problem when emotions have you, because now you become emotionally out of control. Got to focus on regulating my emotions. That's why emotional wellness, emotional health, emotional intelligence is so important. Emotional wealth, emotional health, emotional wellness, emotional intelligence does not mean you suppress your feelings. One thing about emotions can wreck your life if you don't regulate your emotions. Feel your emotions, but don't be fueled by your emotions. Don't suppress your feelings. Allow yourself to experience the sadness. Allow yourself to experience the anger and the guilt and all the emotions that arise. But I need you to hear me. Use it proactively. Don't become a slave to your emotions. Don't allow emotions to now rule and abide over you. to where now you become subservient to your emotions versus your emotions becoming subservient to you. Acknowledge your emotions. You have to acknowledge it. I believe it is Alcoholics Anonymous, AA, first step to the 12-step process, if I'm not mistaken, to remedy yourself from alcoholism is to first acknowledge. This is the problem. This is what I'm feeling. This is the issue. Doesn't make me less of a person. Makes me even more than that, because I refuse to suppress, and I will address. I have to shift from suppress to address by acknowledging what it is that I'm feeling. Secondly, self-care. Family, just type that, self-care, self-care. If I'm going to find some meaning in loss and transition, I'm going to find some meaning through loss and transition, I've got to acknowledge what I'm feeling, got to acknowledge my emotions, then I also have to engage in self-care. I have to do that for my mentality. I have to do that for my reality. Self-care is needed and necessary. Family, you're going to have to put yourself on your calendar. I know you've been a caregiver. I know you're showing up for everybody else. I know you've been the guardian. I know you've been doing XYZ. I know you've been caring for everybody else. But who's caring for you? Who's helping you? You cannot pour from an empty cup. And too often, the wealth and the value in our cup gets lost, because not only are we pouring from an empty cup, but even if our cup is full, we're trying to pour into people who have holes in their cup. And so now whatever we worked for, prayed for, believed for, fasted for, has fallen on deaf ears. What does self-care look like? Looks like some healthy eating. Your food affects your mood. What you eat can either prosper you or now start eating you. What's eating away at you? What's eating away at your mental health and your mindset, your self-esteem and your will to live? To where you're living to eat versus eating to live. So what does that mean? I got to maintain a healthy balance, diet. I have to support my physical and my emotional well-being. I have to do that. I need to exercise regularly. This is part of self-care. It's not just about you getting your nail done, hair done, everything did to you fancy, huh? Ain't just about you being G'd up from the feet up and getting you a haircut. No. It's also about, what am I doing to take care of my temple? Regular exercise is needed and necessary. Some form of physical activity can help you manage stress and improve your mood. In the midst of that, quality sleep is necessary. What is your sleep hygiene like? What are your sleeping habits like? Depression is linked to lack of sleep. Increased appetite is linked to a lack of sleep. So many other issues are connected to a lack of sleep. The way that your brain processes information, or lack thereof, is factored into sleep. You got to aim for adequate rest. Got to aim for adequate sleep to allow your body to rest and recover. You have to do that. We have to tap into the aspect of relaxation techniques, whether that's deep breathing, whether that is studying the Word of God, whether that is reading some form of a book that is empowering us. Some form of mindful practices can help us to manage the anxiety, to relieve the stress, especially as we seek to grow from and through grief. That's what it is. That's what it's about. Family, listen, I want to take a quick break right here. I got more in store. I told you I was giving you 4. I'm only giving you 2. Got other 2 on the other side of this break. I want you to stick and stay after these messages. I'll be right back. You know, I realize the extent of your development is connected to the extent of your investment. What I mean, invest little, develop little. But we're investing much into you as you invest in yourself. by developing your purpose, developing your goals and your dreams and your ideals and your ideas, shifting you from ideas to income. Where does this all happen at? I'm so glad you asked. It takes place in our Eagles Academy. All you have to do is go right now to theeaglesacademy.com, tap the join now button, fill out the form, be transformed to shift your ideas into income, your contacts into contracts, really to grow your ideas, your impact, and your influence. You owe it to you to invest in you. And as a result of it, now you are able to be coached and mentored and be a part of our live trainings with yours truly, with me, along with a host of other leaders and trendsetters and trailblazers and accountability partners. No one grows in a silo. The power of mentorship, it takes what I've learned in years and months and I give it to you in minutes. What I've learned in decades and I can give it to you in days. To be a part of our private Facebook group, to get guided feedback through our Eagle's Nest reflections, to get access to all of the content and all the live sessions and the trainings of business development, of financial stewardship, of the impact and empowerment that only takes place when you go right now to theeaglesacademy.com. Again, when you get there, tap the join now button, fill out the form, be transformed. But it doesn't just stop there. You want to develop your book? Then guess what? You are an aspiring author. You need to get my bestseller book blueprint. It's available right now, accessidentity.org/author. All of the insight of what it is that I have used to write 18 books and be a best-selling author, you owe it to you to get your hands on that. You also owe it to you to get my Successful Speaker Strategies download. I'm telling you, whatever you're building, you can build it better if you use better words. Let me show you how to develop your communication. There's an art to communication. Let me show you how to develop that. Go right now as well to accessidentity.org/speaker. And then I am blessed to pastor the Remnant Worshipers Church. I want you to be a part of the church that I am pastoring at right now. It's such a great thing of what it is that God has fashioned us to do. And it's taking place right here in the city of Detroit, 10 a.m. every Sunday. 6 p.m. we have prayer on Tuesdays. And then 7 p.m. on those same Tuesdays, we have TNT Tuesdays. Truth and Transformation. It's amazing. You want to be a part of it. Go right now, trwchurch.org. And then I want to see your face in the place this Sunday at 20470 Hubble Street. I'm doing my best to save you a seat. Powerful prayer, praise, and a preach word. Can't wait to see your face in place at the Remnant Worshipers Church. Yes, y'all, and we don't stop. Come on, family, I need you to heed to these resources that you've heard. Come on, let's get back to the word. Yeah, we're talking about it today. From grief to growth, finding grace in grief, how to find meaning in loss and transition. Thirdly, I told you number one, those of you just joining us, mentioned some ways to find meaning in loss and transition from grief to growth. One of which is you have to acknowledge your emotions. This is what I feel. This hurt me, XYZ, but this is what I'm going to do as a result. Self-care practices that should become priorities. Got to maintain a balanced diet. Got to exercise. Got to get some quality sleep. In the midst of that, got to increase my water intake. What am I doing for total relaxation? Thirdly, family, just type be patient. Be patient. Yeah, you got to be patient with yourself. You got to be patient with yourself. Yeah, whether it's a breakup or whether it's a funeral, you have to be careful with yourself. Don't pressure yourself to get over things and situations too quickly. Feel the emotions. Progress at your pace. I was talking to a congregant of mine who was mentioning that they had lost a loved one. Of course, my heart, prayers, and condolences went out to them. And they were saying, I'm just trying to get over it quickly. I said, listen. Just slow your roll. Grief oftentimes comes in waves. It's not a specific destination for this. Just take it one step at a time. One step at a time, maybe. You know what? I didn't lay in bed for 5 hours today after I woke up. I laid in bed for 1 hour. I got a little bit better, and I made myself get up. I decided to put some encouragement on. Put on some lotion. Get your hair done. Get your hair cut. Brush your hair. All of those specific things. Because maybe the depression of the situation had you really destitute. Maybe it had you really devastated. You have to be patient with yourself. Family, just type, it's a process. Family, it's a process. It doesn't just happen overnight. Oftentimes, it is through the night seasons. And you have to be patient with yourself. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. If you're taking that one step today, I applaud you. I champion you. I celebrate you. You ought to pat yourself on the back. For you to engage in self-care when you don't even feel like caring for self because you cared for so many other individuals. And you're going to decide to, yeah, I'm going to eat right today. I'm going to exercise. I'm going to feel my emotions. I'm going to be patient with myself. Oh, come on. It's an achievement. It's an achievement. Because a lot of times we think just the achievement is, you got the award, you got the plaque, you got recognized on social media, you got in the newspaper article, you had your face splashed across the magazine cover. No, but sometimes success, sometimes achievement also looks like remaining committed to love yourself through what you go through. For you to push yourself when you feel like throwing in the towel, but God threw it back to you. He said, I want you to use that towel to wipe your brow so that, number 4, you can live out loud. Told you, number 1, you have to acknowledge what you're going through, acknowledge your emotions. Secondly, you have to engage in some self-care practices. Thirdly, you got to be patient with yourself. Last but not least, you got to live out loud. And hear me, I don't know where on the continuum of this process, as you grapple with grief, grow through grief, shift from grieving to growing, grieving to living, and not just existing. I don't know where you fall at on the continuum. I don't know if you're living out loud when you feel as if you're getting better. I don't know if you're living out loud in the midst of the grief. What do I mean by that? I mean, you got to talk about your pain. Got to talk about your pain. You got to find an outlet to now let people in again. Are you hearing me? You got to find an outlet to eventually let people in again. You'll love again. You'll laugh again. You'll rejoice again. You'll bounce back from a setback over and over again. Talk about your pain, but don't drown in it. I know what you went through is painful, but when you put it in God's hands, it'll become purposeful. Got to speak up about your situation. Speak up about your situation. Find revelation from your situation. Yeah, Find revelation for elevation in the midst of your situation. What do I mean by that? Don't allow shame to silence you. You muzzle shame. Don't allow shame to muzzle you. Why is that? Because if you tell my story as journalism, but when I tell my own story, it's a testimony of how you grappled through the test. And now you can testify that this is my testimony. This is my story, but I'm giving God the glory. This is how I shifted pain into power, tragedy into strategy, mess into a message, hurt into healing, grief into grace, grief into growth. You're going to live again. You're going to laugh again. You're going to love again. You're going to leap again. You're going to lean on the Lord again. There's meaning despite loss. There's truth and transformation despite transition. And here's what I'm coming to the reality of. When bad things happen to good people, don't just ask God why. I didn't tell you not to ask him why. God's not turned off by your why. But don't just ask him why. But ask him what? What do you want me to learn? What do you want me to learn? How do you want me to serve? How do you want me to bless people? Help me to make it make sense. Where? Don't just ask why, but ask what? Ask how. Ask where. Can I share? Where can I share my story? Where can I serve other people? Where can I be a blessing to roll up my sleeves and not just do this for applause, but to do this for a cause? Why? Because if I can help somebody as I travel along, then my living shall not be in vain. That's the truth and transformation that comes from the grief of what it is that we experience to the growth for greater transformation, despite the transition, despite the loss. You didn't really take a loss. You learned a lesson. It wasn't a loss. It was greater love. It wasn't a loss. It was leveling up. It wasn't a loss. It was leveraging your purpose. It wasn't a loss. It was how you learned how to lean on the Lord. Grief doesn't have a deadline. But I believe there's going to be transformation that takes place for you in the midst of your timeline. Because God's given you a lifeline in the midst of the waves of grief. Yeah, in the midst of the waves of grief, you're not going to drown. You're not going to be washed away and whisked away by the current. You're going against the grain. And you're going to flourish in the midst of hard times and turbulent situations. Tough times don't last. Only tough people do. Trouble don't last always. Why is that? Because God can speak to the storm. He can give you power to speak to the storm and say, peace be still. I'm not telling God how big my storm is. I'm telling my storm how big God is. I want you to sow into this word that you've heard. I know it was a heavy word. No, it was heavy. I know some of the things we've been dealing with have been heavy on our head. As Shakespeare said, heavy is the head that wears the crown. That I don't want you to be down. I want you to wipe your frown. I want you to wear your crown. Crown yourself with love. Crown yourself with joy. Crown yourself with peace. Crown yourself with increase. Once you sow into this word that you heard, even now, I don't know if it's a $20 seed, I don't know if it's a $10 seed, I don't know if it's a $15 seed, I don't know if it's a $50 seed, but I want you to sow into the word that you've heard. It's not as a debt that you owe, it is a seed that you sow. Yeah. Once you sow that seed even now, we've been having a super conversation. Drop a super chat, drop a super sticker, drop a super thanks. Yeah. On Cash App, it's $Dr. Eddie Ministries. Cash App, $Dr. Eddie Ministries. Dr. Eddie Ministries, PayPal, Zelle, EddieConnorJr @gmail.com. Once again, Cash App, $Dr. Eddie Ministries, PayPal, Zelle, EddieConnorJr @gmail.com. In the midst of the suffering and sadness, in the midst of the suffering and silence, in the midst of the sulking and sinking and stinking thinking, yeah, I'm praying that God permeates your mind, that he keeps you in perfect peace. Your mind is stayed on him. You're not going to be anxious for anything, but in everything, by prayer and supplication, your request is going to be made known unto God. And the peace of God that passes all understanding shall keep your hearts and your mind. Yeah, you're not going to lose your mind. You're retraining your brain. You're retraining your mind. You've got stick-to-itiveness. There's encouragement flowing in and through you. You're going to get through this situation. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the super sticker. Thank you for sewing into the super conversation. Thank you for the Cash App, the online giving. $Dr. Eddie Ministries, PayPal, Zelle, EddieConnorJr @gmail.com. I want you to name your seed as you sow your seed. Maybe you're naming your seed growth. Maybe you're naming your seed meaning. Maybe you're naming your seed purpose. Maybe you're naming your seed empowerment. Maybe you're naming your seed faith, love, hope, joy. I don't know what you're naming your seed. I want you to name your seed, and I'm joining my faith with yours that God does 30, 60, 100 fold, exceedingly abundantly, above all that you, yes, you, can ask or even think. Family, I want you to become a member of our In the Mix family. Yeah, family, become a member of our In the Mix family. Links in the chat, links in the description of this video for how and where to become a member. Really is. Really is. Tap that link, click that link. My gift to you is to give you access to our members only area, but I need you to go ahead and get a badge. VIP, Royalty, OQP. Choose one of those three. My gift to you is to give you access to our members only area, access the unlimited, get an all access pass, unlock the unlimited. Membership has its privileges. Get all the behind the scenes footage, coverage, content, information that I don't share anywhere else except here in our members only area. I want you to unlock it and get access to all of it. Shout out to all of our digital decal holders. Yeah, shout out to all of you who are in our live chat who have a digital decal by your name. I appreciate your support. That lets me know that you are a partner of In the Mix. You're not just a subscriber, but I want you to be a partner to In the Mix. I appreciate you. If you're not soaring with us, what's going on? What are you doing? Come on, you're flying too low. It's time to soar. I want you to soar higher. Eagles don't fly, eagles soar. Yeah, I want you to soar into more. I'm going to show you how to soar into more through greater success and purpose by becoming a member of our Eagles community. I want you to join my virtual village. We got an amazing session. Yeah, tomorrow night in our Eagles community, a live session where I'm going to be coaching, teaching, training, mentoring you, empowering you. You want to get an all access pass to that, which includes our private Facebook group, 24/7, 365, 366 on a leap year of inspiration, determination, strategies that are going to always catapult you to another dimension. You get access to our Eagles Academy video portal where we have every single session that we've ever done, past and present, on relationships, business, finances, God, goals, growth, and greatness, and so much more. You need access to that. Greater than Netflix. You need access to that. Go get that now. TheEaglesAcademy.com. Then also you get access as well to all of our amazing partners, our accountability partners, locally, nationally, globally. Get access to that. And then, of course, our amazing teaching, coaching, mentoring, empowerment sessions. You said, listen, where do I sign up? I'm telling you right now, say less. TheEaglesAcademy.com, TheEaglesAcademy.com, TheEaglesAcademy.com. When you get there, tap the Join Now button, fill out the form, and I guarantee you will be transformed. Family, were you transformed by this conversation? In the midst of transition, there's transformation. If you were transformed by this conversation, just type growth. Type growth. Growth. Type growth. There's some things I've been unwrapping. There's some things I've been unraveling, but I'm going to grow through what I've been grieving over. Family in the Mix is out of time, but trust me, I'm not out of truth. And so I want to thank you for rocking with me. I want to thank you for riding with me. I really do want to thank you for rolling with me. Why? Because that's just how we roll. And we roll together each and every single weekday, Monday through Friday for In the Mix. And we mix it up right here on the YouTube side. Would you hit that like button? Hit that thumbs up button. Come on, family. Like. Yeah, if you haven't commented, do that. Share. If you haven't shared it, do that. Subscribe. That goes without being said. If you haven't subscribed, do that as well. Growing your greatness. Help me grow our channel for change. Our channel that creates change. Our channel that breaks chains. Sincere salute to all of you who are watching us on our sister satellite stations on social media. I appreciate you. Just got a question for you. Are you my friend? Are we locked in? Well, then step this way, step that way. Which way? By friending me, follow me. On Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, TikTok. We don't stop at EddieConnorJr. Come on, family. Put some respect on my name. EddieConnorJr. Y'all keep showing love. I'm going to keep showing up. And I want you to show up this coming Sunday at 10 o'clock a.m. Yeah, this Sunday at 10 o'clock a.m. to the church where I pastor, the Remnant Worshipers Ministry. A church alive is really worth the flight of the drive. Yeah. And when you arrive, you're going to be empowered to thrive. I love that. Let me say that twice because it's also nice. Church alive is worth the flight of the drive. And when you arrive, you're going to be empowered to thrive. I want you to arrive. I want you to make a real serious decision. I want you to make, I want you to be intentional about being here this coming Sunday at 10 o'clock a.m. You say, well, where do I go? I'm so glad to let you know, 20470 Hubble Street in the city of Detroit. We're doing our best to save your seat. Yeah, join us. 20470 Hubble Street this Sunday, 10 o'clock a.m. Get ready for an amazing experience of word and worship, powerful prayer, praise, and a preached word. Don't you dare miss it. Bring somebody. I can't wait to see your face in the place. trwchurch.org. Check our website out, our church website, to get more information. trwchurch.org. You can also get any of my books. You know, I can't talk about everything. And even all the sessions that we've done on In the Mix, I can't talk about everything. So guess what? Since I can't talk about everything, I write about anything. Yeah. Go ahead, get any of my books on Amazon. I've got 18 of them out there. They're available as ebooks, audiobooks, hard copies. Get signed copies at my website, which is EddieConnor.com. EddieConnor.com. I got a litany of resources, got a plethora of programs for you, such as my bestseller book blueprint that you need to be a part of. You need to, matter of fact, it's already ready. Just got it. All you have to do is download it. Yeah, download my bestseller book blueprint. I'm showing you all the steps, tools, and principles of what it is that I do to take my book, my manuscript to the marketplace, increase my sales, become an industry authority as an author. You owe it to you to do the same thing for you too. The bestseller book blueprint, say that about 10 times. The bestseller book blueprint is not just for those who are aspiring writers, aspiring authors. These are for those who are already authors now. You keep saying you're going to write your book. Do it. Let me help you and show you how to do it. You also want to download my Successful Speaker Strategies digital video training guide. I'm going to show you how to wow your audience. I'm going to show you how to be invited back. I'm going to show you how to develop and adapt and adopt your signature story. Yeah. I'm going to show you and talk to you about the art of communication, really how to use it. You owe it to you to get that. Whatever you're building, you can build it better if you use better words. Whatever you're building, you can build it better if you use better words. You can get rid of all the fillers. You can get rid of all the likes and the uhs and the ums. You can get rid of all that. And I'm going to show you how to do that. Speaking, if you're looking for a dynamic speaker, now why would you look any further? Know that I'm the man for the job, so invite me to speak at your church, your conference, your community center, your school, your graduation, your session. Let's make some progression. Invite me to speak at your podcast as well. Put me on your calendar. Yeah, put me on your calendar. All you have to do is email me to invite me. info@EddieConnor.com. Email me to invite me. info@EddieConnor.com, and it would be an honor for me to empower you. Yours truly, Dr. Eddie, your main man, 100 grand. Your brother, and I mean that from another mother. Family has been fun, but you know, brother, got to run. So I want you to know it's been a privilege and a pleasure, a treat and a treasure, a joy. Yes, it has been beyond measure. But I want you, yes, you, I'm talking to you now, to remember to keep the faith and believe it's going to be bigger, better, brighter, peace, and a whole lot of love. Keep soaring higher. You know, I realize the extent of your development is connected to the extent of your investment. What I mean, invest little, develop little. But we're investing much into you as you invest in yourself by developing your purpose, developing your goals and your dreams and your ideals and your ideas, shifting you from ideas to income. Where does this all happen at? I'm so glad you asked. It takes place in our Eagles Academy. All you have to do is go right now to theeaglesacademy.com, tap the join now button, fill out the form, be transformed to shift your ideas into income, your contacts into contracts, really to grow your ideas, your impact, and your influence. You owe it to you to invest in you. And as a result of it, now you are able to be coached and mentored and be a part of our live trainings with yours truly. Yeah, with me, along with a host of other leaders and trendsetters and trailblazers and accountability partners. No one grows in a silo. The power of mentorship, it takes what I've learned in years and months and I give it to you in minutes. What I've learned in decades and I can give it to you in days. To be a part of our private Facebook group, to get guided feedback through our Eagle's Nest reflections, to get access to all of the content and all the live sessions and the trainings of business development, of financial stewardship, of the impact and empowerment that only takes place when you go right now to theeaglesacademy.com. Again, when you get there, tap the join now button, fill out the form, be transformed. But it doesn't just stop there. You want to develop your book? Then guess what? You are an aspiring author. You need to get my bestseller book blueprint. It's available right now. accessidentity.org/author. All of the insight of what it is that I have used to write 18 books and be a best-selling author. You owe it to you to get your hands on that. You also owe it to you to get my Successful Speaker Strategies download. I'm telling you, whatever you're building, you can build it better if you use better words. Let me show you how to develop your communication. There's an art to communication. Let me show you how to develop that. Go right now as well to accessidentity.org/speaker. And then I am blessed to pastor the Remnant Worshipers Church. I want you to be a part of the church that I am pastoring at right now. Is such a great thing of what it is that God has fashioned us to do. And it's taking place right here in the city of Detroit, 10 a.m. every Sunday, 6 p.m. we have prayer on Tuesdays, and then 7 p.m. on those same Tuesdays, we have TNT Tuesdays, Truth and Transformation. It's amazing. You want to be a part of it. Go right now, trwchurch.org, and then I want to see your face in the place this Sunday at 20470 Hubble Street. I'm doing my best to save you a seat. Powerful prayer, praise, and a preach word. Can't wait to see your face in place at the Remnant Worshipers Church.